Welcome back, everybody, and we are going to start cutting down some trees. Last episode, we started, or we got, was talking about it, and we still have our hired hand mowing our field over there. So, in the meantime, we are going to, like I said, we're going to go ahead and start cutting trees and showing the one way of turning the trees into wood chips. So let's go ahead and hop in our harvester, get everything fired up. Um, Now, I forget when it came out in 25, but the auto align for the forestry harvesters, something that came out that made things so much easier, made life so much easier for doing forestry work. So basically what we're starting off with is we're just cutting logs. We're doing 6 meter logs. That's what we got things set to. And then we'll go back, we'll move all the logs over to our staging area or running through the wood chipper. Kicker is we're right on the boundary of the map here, so trees aren't falling like they're supposed to. Once we get away from the boundary, things will fall a little bit more even. But with the auto align on the forestry harvesters, it makes things so much easier. Now, something you do have to watch for on some maps, there's an issue of whenever you're cutting trees down, the tips of the trees tend to go through them. Whenever that happens, it causes the tree to get stuck in place. Sometimes you can get away with just moving around, start actually cutting, and it'll free itself. Other times, you're just you end up having to just cut the tip of the tree off, take the loss. So, I think that's a good enough stack to get started with. Let's hop in that guy. Pretty sure I've got it set for the left side. So these trailers, or at least this one, this pack, the auto load setting that it has already built in only works on one side at a time. So default typically is the left side. Alright, so that's one thing with this trailer, do not move with the auto load on, because what ends up happening is the trees will end up sticking out like that one little bitty guy. But and it with this trailer, if that happens, get over onto some flat ground, say about right here, and unload everything. Or unload until you get to that one log that's sticking past, and then start loading again. And just let the truck sit there. Don't move the truck at all while it's loading. So there's one stack. Now, one thing I like doing whenever I'm in this truck, after I've loaded up, I do like throwing the straps on, keep things from moving. But that's a personal preference. Each person does their own thing with it, but that's my personal preference. So, all right, back in here. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and get us a full load on that trailer, and then we'll get to processing. Now, one of the downsides to these forestry harvesters, they don't handle little trees very well, like the one right next to us here. So that's something we'll have to go back in and clean up afterwards. That is one of the downsides to this setup. But to each problem there's a solution to just about every problem. So, and we have a set solution. Now, I am running keyboard and mouse for doing this. Now, one thing that makes it a little easier to do is I have the auto align button and the cut key bound to my mouse. And it makes it so that it's easier to get things like that. if I recall correctly, the default for the auto align on keyboard is O, and then cut is X. If memory serves me right. Alright, so this should be about enough to fill the trailer. So I do have super strength on. Just makes I've had it on for a couple different things that I was doing earlier. But let's get that stacked. Now with this trailer, so you can switch what side it loads from. So I switched it over to the right side, and so after we get all the trees harvested, we will end up having to go back and take care of the stumps. There's multiple different ways of doing it. The easiest, if you're using lumberjack mod, you can actually do it with a chainsaw, which we do have that mod, but we're not going to be doing it that way. There's another way that we can do it, which is the way we will do it. You can use a mulcher. Mulcher is going to take care of chopping up the stumps just fine. Another option is a bulldozer. Now, some of the bulldozer that I'd be using is a modded piece of equipment. But let's turn on wood chipper, and I think we do need to turn that off. So we're going to do this with super strength on, just make things a little bit easier. Now, this wood chipper, it's actually designed to be pulled behind a open-ended dump truck. And what ends up happening is that these throw the chips all the way to the front of the dump truck, which typically has a ceiling on it. And then it just fills it that way. So, this is one way of doing it. This is, quite honestly, the most time-consuming way of doing this. There are other easier ways, which we actually do have. Another thing is, I want to keep at this for a bit. Um, it's going to take me quite a while to work through this stack. The other way I have is way faster, which is what I'll probably end up doing most of, but it's going to be off camera. You can get wood chippers that are much bigger, easier to load. Like, let's, all right. So in base game wise, you got this guy. It's a little bit bigger than what we're using. It's not any easier to use. Then there is this guy. This is base game. Now this one actually has a grapple hook on it for the purpose of loading. So it loads on this ramp right here. And then obviously that's its just discharge. What we're using is one of these guys, which I don't know how I've got two of them, but I got two of them. And then there's two different ones of these that I have available. This one is, I got this one out of FS Miners kit. So what you do is you drop the chunks here, and this conveyor conveys it up. In all honesty, it only conveys up to about here, and then it drops them. This one is handy, but it's easier with the shorter pieces. And then there's this guy. This one loads in here, and this one, in all honesty, looks like it could devour full trees. And then the same thing, this ramp comes up to about here or so and drops down. This one and the last one, the best way to use them is to have them just make a pile underneath them, and then use another conveyor to convey it up into your trailer or whatever. Now this one right here, this is kind of cheaty. In my opinion, it works. It's very fast, and basically what it is, you just drive right up to the tree. It starts chipping it up, and this chute will shoot it right over your tractor or truck or tractor, whatever you're using, straight into your trailer. That is by far the fastest, easiest route, and that's how we're, on all honesty, that's how we're going to get the majority of it done. But so I'm going to finish this up, this pile, before I switch to doing the fast way. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I really hope to catch you guys next time. Take care and have a wonderful day.